Pop Solu. The accounting profession has long required independence, not only in el facto, but also in appearance. Public confidence would be impaired by evidence that independently was actually lacking, and it might also be impaired by the existence of mitigating circumstances, which reasonable people might believe likely to influence an independence. Accordingly, independent auditors should not only be independent in fact, they should avoid situations that may lead outsiders to doubt their abilities. Independence and rules also must be prophylactic. Auditor independence requires auditors to be alert to a number of rather subtle influences. Here's a considerable range of individual abilities within the profession. Some auditors are strong enough and alert enough to control themselves under the most adverse and perhaps even the most subtle influences. Others are not so fortunate. Our task in this area is to identify and address the influences and the reason, well, shall we say, doing it reasonably is for the reason. It could be expected to pose an unacceptable risk that an auditor would lose his or her objectivity for that reasonable person's. They would perceive a loss of objectivity on both sides. Reasons for the appearance standard serves an important legal purpose. It supplements an inquiry into the auditor's actual subjective state of mind with an objective test, whether reasonable persons, knowing all relevant circumstances, would perceive that an auditor is independent or not. As the words can connote or denote, the appearance standard confines the inquiry into what is apparent and does not require an inquiry into the auditor's actual state of mind. The appearance should be standard. It should be stressed. Is it not a matter of public relations? It does not require the auditor to guess how persons with only a superficial understanding of any relevant facts to view his or her actions. Appearance is measured only with respect to reasonable persons, knowing all the relevant facts and circumstances. Remember, independence rules must also be prophylactic. So, if you're going to present yourself, then understand that equally you're in public relations. So, I can't say that, it's so super crucial, but we have to understand that auditor independence involves assumptions about human behavior that cannot be easily verified, while conflicts of interest are easily described. Their actual impact on the objectivity of a particular auditor can never be precisely known. because objectivity, as the professional standard notes, is a state of mind. Public Report Oversight Board echoes the point, noting that the appearance of independence itself, a key ingredient to the value of the audit function, since users of all audits and reports must be able to rely on the independent auditor. If they perceive that there is a lack of independence, whether or not such a deficiency exists, much of that value is lost. The Supreme Court made the same point in the Arthur Young decision. Come on, man. If we're going to get out there like that and risk getting shot, I mean, we're talking about a concert of uniformed civil servants. I mean, the perception and opinion of aggression value, just with the cherries and berries, I mean, come on. We get it. They may not get it. Superficially, some people might even remotely understand. But at the end of the day, the only way this is going to go anywhere further than it is, as a result of the Supreme Court saying, well, let's talk about this over some brandy and a cigar. This, the way I see it is these guys aren't even stepping up their game. They're only on the surface, and we'll see if anybody down the road actually, steps up their game. We've got a couple auditors out there with real cameras and some microphones, but, I mean, they're just interviews. You know what I mean? So, you get the understanding of the law and the understanding of Latin. And how can they sit in there, right? Using English and Ebonics so loosely to describe? Well, I wonder why, man. Pro Pop Solu. Court out.